we can get at this later. So hello, thanks for coming today. It's great to have some people on board. I was telling Rosemary earlier that I look forward to this session. I've been doing these, well, I mean, I've been teaching for 100 years, but I've been doing these free Fridays for about a month now, and I just keep putting more and more of them on because I enjoy them so much. They are free, so they're not really contributing to my bills very much. And I will hit you up with a couple of offers later. But yes, thank you for coming. It's great. So I'm Joanne Swensrud. I'm based out of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Know It Sooner Computer Training is my company, and you can see the contact information on the screen here. So I've got some ideas today to try to get people to stop using their calculators and start using Excel to get calculations done. And I can tell by the number of people who have registered that this is a thing, that people are doing that, and I actually see that all the time. So I'm going to do that. Try to give you a good project, and let's try to figure it out on using Excel. So a couple things. These are free. And what I have asked for is for people to give me some reviews on Facebook, LinkedIn, Google, and Yelp. And I will put I'll send you all a follow-up email later telling you how to get the recording and stuff, and I'll have some links in there as well, so that if you wouldn't mind doing that, that means so much to me. Please also think about these types of sessions, maybe having me come and give them to your group. I was on site yesterday actually giving a class all day long. That's what I do a lot of, but I also do virtual stuff like this, little 1 hour things, as well as 3 hours or 6 hours or one-on-ones or whatever. So that's my little marketing blurb. That I thank you for listening for that. So I'll yeah. So the agenda for today, I want to talk about, of course, it's all about Excel. There are some keys that we all need to know about. We're going to talk about some formulas and some functions. So what's the difference between those? Well, functions are just sort of fancy formulas, and they're actually sometimes even easier to do than a formula. So we'll get more into that. I want to talk about autofill. So once you put one of these formulas or functions in, how can I get it around my spreadsheet? I don't want to do the same one over and over and over and over again. And I'd like to have some time for some questions. So I will be sending out an email with the link for the recording, but if you want to jot down the email, the website address that you see right now, courses.knowitsooner.com. It's just kind of a subdomain of knowitsooner.com. It takes you directly into all my recordings. Some are free, some are for pay. They're cheap, you guys. $49 for the month for a whole bunch of courses where you can start and stop it and that kind of thing. So I'm trying to give something to everybody. So that's a little bit about what we've got. I have a spreadsheet that some of you will want to follow along. Do you guys want to follow along, or you just want to watch? Because I'm going to put the file in the chat right now, and I'll probably want to do that a couple of times throughout because people come on at different times. So I'm going to throw this Excel spreadsheet into the chat, and if you want, you can open it up and follow along. Otherwise, you can wait for the recording. Maybe you want to do the start stop kind of thing. Okay, so going forward, you have a project. Oh, sorry, next steps. Before we get into that, monthly lunch bites. I just dreamed this little slide up, Rosemary, as we were talking. I do these very similar sessions on the first Thursday of every month, and they're $10 Canadian. So if you want to kind of hop on board for that, I would love to have you. You can find out more information at that website. And I mentioned the custom lunch and learns as well. Okay. All right. I want to start by just getting you to look at your keyboard right now. It might look a little bit like this one. It might look different. we need to know 5 keys. So look right now at your keyboard and see if you can see the 5 keys that it's talking about here. So I will, where's my, I'm trying to find my little highlighter. My highlighter color, I guess that'll probably work. So this guy, well, let's go in order. Equals, got our equal sign right here. That's not a very good color, is it? We've got our equal sign. Find that one. If you're on a laptop, it's probably there. I think even on a Mac, it's there. And then we've got our plus sign. It's over here. Now, if you don't have this great big keyboard, right? It's not really a great big keyboard, but you might be on a laptop. Like I know on my laptop, I don't have that big extra keyboard on the side. So you'll have to find these keys on the left-hand side of the keyboard. So where's your plus? Your plus is actually on the same key as the equals. So equals, you don't need shift. Plus, you do need shift if you're accessing it over here, right? If you're accessing it over there, you need it. Minus is either over here or it's right beside the plus. I've kind of done some icky things to that, haven't I? And then you've got your multiply. Again, it's over on the right-hand side. And if you don't have it, it's shift 8. Okay. And then the last one is your division. It's the slash. If you don't have that keyboard on the right, where is it? It's actually your question mark key. And for question mark, you need shift. For the slash, you don't need shift. Okay. Now that is just about all you need to do a formula. Once in a while, you need some brackets to force something to happen first. So do you remember your, what is it called? Your bed mass from school? Long time ago. If you want something to happen first, so for example, if you and I are putting our money together and then dividing it by 2, we would say, let's say you have $10 and I have $20, you'd go 10 plus 2. You want that to happen first, and then you'd go divided by 2, right? So you take the 10 plus 20, that would be 30, divide it by 2, so it'd be 15. So sometimes we need the brackets to make something happen first, because if you didn't have the brackets in that case, it would do the multiplication first, and you wouldn't want that to happen. So those are some of the keys that you need. You will see things like commas and colons and all that. We try not to have to type those things in the way that I do my formulas and functions. You might know of a different way to do it. You know what? There's always a different way to do it, isn't there? So that is your little bit about the keys that you need. Okay, I know that there were some people that came in after I sent this file away, so I'm going to send that away. Kathy, my dear, I see you're online. Would you be able to do that for me? I'm sorry, I just sprung that on you. Kathy's one of my wonderful instructors that works with me, and there's a file I just put into the chat that if you wouldn't mind throwing it in to the chat every once in a while. You can't have it open though. Sorry, I didn't realize Kathy was coming. Yay! All right, so here's your project. Here is your project. You have been asked by your whoever to figure out costs to bring in a first aid course or an Excel course into your office. So you've been asked to figure out what the overall cost will be, and then break it down cost per employee. Okay. And so we're going to get charged per employee, and we also need to rent a room, and we're going to supply lunch. Otherwise, this is just really easy, right? So we're going to create a spreadsheet to do that. I actually have the spreadsheet already. That's the one that I am putting into the chat. So cost per person is going to be $100. Lunch is $20. Okay, so already we're thinking, okay, how much is it going to be per person? It's going to be $120 per person, right? Oh, well, the room rental is $300, and it doesn't matter how many people are in the room. 100 or 1,000. The room rental is still $300. We're probably going to assume it's not 1,000 people. Right now we have 3 people interested, but there could be more. So I challenge you to figure that out on a calculator. Can you guys see my calculator? I do have my calculator on my taskbar. I do use it, but really for sort of one-timer only calculations. So this would be a one-timer. Maybe it's like, oh, the course already happened and we had 3 people. How much did that cost us? Or maybe me, I'm on the billing end. Okay, so what would I do here? I want to make sure that we have down pat the formulas that we're going to do, the calculations that we're going to do. Okay, so there's 3 people, $100. Let's do that one in our head, right? What are we doing? We're going 3 times 100. And you'll notice on the calculator they're using plus, minus, times, and divide by, the stuff that we all learned in school. And some of the keyboards have those symbols on them. So if you're looking at your keyboard going, I don't have that asterisk she was just talking about, maybe you have an X and a divide by symbol, because they're starting to be like that. So we've got $300. That's how much the tuition cost is going to be. And then it's $20 per person. So I'm going to do that one in my head. 20 times 3 is 60. So it'll be the $300 plus the 60, $360. Great. So that's what it's going to cost, the overall. And then we're going to add the room rental. So 360 plus 300, right? So it should be $660. Is that right? So it's $300 plus the 360, sorry, $300 plus the 60 is 360, and then plus the $300 for room rental. Okay, there you go, boss. It's $660 it's going to cost. Oh, well, what's the breakdown of that per person? Okay, I'm going to go divided by 3. It's $220. Good, I'm done. What happens? What happens after you finish that? Oh, actually, we have a couple more people that are interested in coming. Okay, so that would be 5 people, so that would be $500. And then the lunch, that would be 20 times 5. That's $100. So what did I say? 500 plus, okay, that's 600 plus the room rental's 300. Okay, so that's 900, and then divided by 3. So that is the issue, is that it works just I can do it on a calculator, but then when I want to make any changes, or what if we use this next year and the cost has gone up to 150 and lunch has gone up to 25 and the room rental, oh, I don't know, maybe it's gone down to 250. We found a cheaper room and there's going to be more. Anytime there could be changes, that's when we want to talk about using Excel. Okay. Everybody think that that's a fun little project? Okay, so I'm going to bring up the spreadsheet that I handed out. I'm used to working in person here because I did it yesterday for the first time in a long time. COVID kind of took all of our stuff away, and we're doing a lot of virtual like this. So I've got little sheets at the bottom here, and I'm going to walk you through some of these things. So if you're poking around, looking around, make sure that right now we're on the basic one. And so this is kind of what I just showed you. And this isn't a course today about creating a spreadsheet. This is about formulas. If you want other kinds of training on this, then let us know. But I've created it. I've said number of participants is 3. Anytime you put these numbers out there, then we are able to very quickly do formulas on them. So 3 participants, the tuition is $100 each. So we are going to go to cell B8. And what is the formula? Well, what is the calculation? 3 times 100, right? 3 times 100 is just for the tuition. How much is the tuition cost? We'll do lunch and the room rental in a minute. So we're thinking 3 times 100. You guys, this is what we need to remember. We start our formulas out with an equal sign. We go to the spot where we want it to go first, and then we hit equals. Now we're thinking 3 times 100. So I'm going to pick up my mouse and I'm going to click on the 3, and it puts the name of the cell in. Maybe some of you would have gone, B, what is it? And you put a 3 in by mistake. Right? So equals, click on the 3. I'm thinking in my head, what I just finished typing in that calculator, 3 times. So what's the times symbol? Multiply by my tuition costs. Sometimes it does this. It's kind of goofy. I'm just going to go above it and sort of go down with my arrow key. It's right behind this. I could do it the opposite way and it would have worked, but sometimes it just takes up so much room. I don't know why it does that. So I'll do that one more time. I'm going to go equals. This time I'll go the 100 first. It's $100 per person. Click on the 100 times 3. Click on the 3. It doesn't matter if it's 100 times 3 or 3 times 100. B7 times B4. So it's going to take whatever is in those 2 cells and multiply them, and it sits there and watches. Right? Oh my gosh, 10 people want that first aid course? 15 people now? Oh my gosh, right? I'm going to put it back to 3. Oh, it went up. If you only have 3 people, it went up to $500 per course, per person, right? And there's lots of other things that we can do in there. We could say, if it's greater than 5, this is the price. Otherwise, this is the price. That's an if. We're probably not going to get into that today, but those are a lot of fun. Okay. Good. So
What
3,
if you had to change the formula?
pardon?
What if you had to change the formula? How could you go in and change the formula?
So up here, when I'm clicked on the cell, up here is my formula bar. It says equals B7 times B4. You just
Oh,
click,
I didn't
you
get
just
so
click up there.
tiny.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can either just type right over top of it, or usually if there's a problem, it's just, oh, it's not multiply, it's plus or divide or something, right? Or,
Yeah.
oh, geez, it's not B4, it's B10 or something like that. Yeah. And I love it. Thank you, Donna, because I click up there and the bottom left-hand corner says I'm in edit mode, and I'm able to look at the cells that I've used in that formula. So I'll hit escape to come out of that. This is a brand new spreadsheet. I open it up. Where does this 300 come from? I look up there, B7. Where is that? Click up there and it kind of shows you. So it draws your eye to the 2 that it's using. So I am all for making things easier, and that really does make it easier. The other thing that people might do is you might double click on that formula cell. It does the same thing, but it's a little cleaner, I think, to do it up top here. It doesn't tend to, I don't know. There's almost more than one way to do it, isn't there? Good. So there's our 3 times 100. Now we can do our lunch is going to be what? 3 times 20. So what are we going to do? We're going to go to where we want the spot to be, and I usually will put it in yellow just to make it a little easier. Equals 3 times, oh, it's doing it again, isn't it? I'm going to hit escape and do it the opposite. Equals 20 times 100. Oh, not 100. Times 3. 20 times 3. 60, right? If I had 5 people, that goes up to 100, 500, and 100. If I had 10 people, here's just the great part about it, right? Is that you can just go in there. Oh, there's only 2 people, right? So 3. So far we have our 300 plus our 60. There's our room rental. It's just a flat rate. So cost for training. Any questions with that so far? Is it pretty easy? Are any of you saying, wow, this is easier than I thought? That's what I get in my classes sometimes. So please put in the chat if you have any questions or comments. So cost for training is going to be what? The 300 plus the 60 plus the 300, right? So we figured out the tuition, we figured out the lunch, and then we just add the room rental. So sometimes you can use auto sum if you're doing a column of numbers, but we don't really want to do the whole column of numbers. We don't want that 20 in there, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to add the 30 and the 60 and the 300. So we don't the 30, the 300, the 60 and the 30, 300 again equals 300 plus 60 plus 300. Now that's about the maximum number of things that I would put in there. Otherwise, I would be moving those three things over into a separate column and doing a sum. We're going to do sum in a few minutes. Do you understand? So if there was like a whole bunch of these, like, oh, you got to add cost of workbooks and you got to add, I don't know, the cost of cover charge, and you got to add the cost of certificates, blah, 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 blah. You got all these costs. You wouldn't be going equals this plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this. You could simply put those in a separate column. You have 16,000 columns. You can afford to use a different column. And then this would be a little bit of a different calculation. Okay, but just for simplicity today, it's the 300 plus the 60 plus the 300. Okay, works great. And we can see up here, like we said before, we can click on it and look. Good. Cost per person. So it's $660. So now my manager wants to know how much per person so that they can, I don't know, charge back the department, or maybe they're making them pay on their own or something like that. So did we do that one in the other? Yeah, we did. So 660 divided by 3. So equals 660 divided by 3. So the divide by is your slash, right? And so it's $220 each. So we would know it's 220. I like to format things. I'm going to select all of these guys. I like to hit the $ on my screen. Notice I didn't do the 3 because the 3 is not a currency value. So now they're adding a couple people, so it's 5. Okay, it's $900, $180 per person. Oh, so-and-so wants to do it in the, in the next office. Okay. Uh-oh, what does this mean? What does that mean, you guys? It means you need to open your column up a little bit more. If it still isn't working and you're open, you're dragging it over, you can go between the B and the C up top here, and you can double click on it, and it'll make it. You have to have it that specific type of cursor in order to do it, though, right? You can't just go up to column B and double click on it. It's like, oh, it's not working. You have to be on the line between the B and the C and double click on it, and then it'll open it up. So if I were to make these numbers a lot bigger and it was into the 10,000s, I'd probably have to do that again. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it automatically opens up. So what do you guys think? Tuition goes up 150, lunch goes up 30, room rental goes down 250. Oh my gosh, I challenge you to see how much time that saves when you're doing it manually. I challenge you. Anybody want to do a challenge? I'm ready for you, right? Cool, hey? Comments, questions? You're supposed to say, that was easy.
Yeah, I'm one that types in every single square, so that was great to know I could click on each one and it would automatically populate.
Yeah. Well, I think that was Rosemary. That's great that you're even putting it into a spreadsheet and doing formulas. That's fantastic. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because even if you are already, then I'm hoping that there's lots of tips. So we're going to take this and look at it again in a couple of minutes. Donna, did you have a question?
Could you flash back to that original slide that showed those keys that we need? Remember you? Yeah, no, yeah. Okay, I just want to do a screenshot because the multiplication, I know I'll never remember that. Thank you.
Yeah. And you know what? If you have the calculator on your keyboard, no, I'm going to lie there. It doesn't do it. It used to. Sorry. I was going to say that's a good quick check, but yeah. And Excel reminds you pretty quickly if you use the wrong one. So this one again, well, let's do this one, total tuition. it's equals B7 times B4. So if I was going equals this guy, and I use like what we used in school, the times, no, I hate it how it does that, equals this guy times 6, you get name. That is not a good day when you do that. It just doesn't recognize what on earth you're trying to do. So it just doesn't do it. As soon as we start typing it in, it puts and clicking on cells, it puts us into sort of formula mode. And you can see here that your toolbar is just not not happening at all. Okay, so that is yeah, good, Tekla. Excellent. Thank you for that. If you're new here and you want to have a copy of the spreadsheet, please put it in the chat and we'll get you a copy of the spreadsheet. I think that nobody came in after we did that, but I'm not sure. So down at the bottom, so if you're practicing this later, you can check your answers. I've been playing around with numbers. So I usually have some instructions in there just for fun. These are some of the ideas of the exercises that we do in our classes. Okay, there's one at the bottom called practice functions. So formulas and functions. So what do we have here? We are now selling ice cream. Okay, and we have some pretty cool ice creams in here, and I'm so sorry. Here it's lunchtime. I haven't eaten lunch yet, so it's like, oh my gosh, these look so good. Anyway, we've sold some in the different quarters, and we're gonna do a total, like how many red hot chili chocolate, I don't know about that one, did we sell in the year? We're gonna put a formula in here, and we're gonna drag it down so that it works for all of them. And then down towards the bottom, it says total. So now we want to know how many quarts did we sell in quarter 1. So we can kind of do it both ways. And then look at all this cool stuff we have here. We have average and highest and lowest. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get there. And if you need to, it's really handy in this exercise to be able to see all of your stuff. So what I'm doing, I do this lots when I do my classes, is I'm holding my control key down and I'm using the wheel on my mouse. So wheel out, wheel in, and I use that all the time on the internet and everything. So that might be a fun one for you. So I'm just going to zoom out enough so that I can see my first and my last ice cream. You don't have to do that. You know, certainly if you had 1,000 things, you're not going to be able to do that, but I can because I only have, 26 lines or so that I want to see right now. Okay, so here's one option. Equals this guy plus this guy, even though it's blank, we still want it, plus this guy, plus this guy. What's wrong with that? That took a long time. And I want you to think, what if they weren't quarters? What if they were months? Or what if they were even like every day you're tracking things on a daily basis? That's way too much work. Okay. If you have stuff that's every single cell, then you don't have to do it this way. You're going to do a range. You're going to say, I want to add up from here to here, all the stuff in between. So I'm going to press my escape key, and here's where we're going to use the auto sum, or you can just call it sum. And a lot of people will probably know about this. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. It doesn't matter. And there's about 8 ways to do your auto sum. I like the way I'm going to show you because it will also work great for these functions down here, the average and highest and lowest. So I love it when I can take one skill that I've learned and apply it to other things. So I'm going to click, just like when we were doing formulas, because functions are just a fancy formula. And I'm going to click where I want my answer to go. So I would like to know the total red hot chili chocolate quarts of ice cream. How many did I sell? So I'm going to click where I want my answer to go. And then I'm going to reach over on my toolbar here to auto sum. Now yours might say auto sum, or it might just have that little character over here. Just rest your mouse on it and see if it says sum in the little tooltip. I'm going to just click on sum. You don't have to click on the drop down. And what it actually does is it guesses. So it guesses at what you want added up. It looks to the left and it looks up and it says, hey, I found some numbers here. Okay, I found some numbers. Is it right? Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. For example, I'm just going to press escape here for a minute. If I happened to be on the second one, and I did that, so click on the second one, hit auto sum. Oh, it magically knew that I wanted them all, right? Why did it guess correctly on this line and not on the other line? Because it stops when it sees spaces or text. On the sour tart sherbet, it saw a number, a number, a number, a number, text. So it stopped. Yay, it's perfect. Enter. That's all I would have to do with that one. Okay. So half the time it's right and half the time it's wrong. Because there was a space here, it didn't like it. So this by no means that you have to go in there and put zeros or something like that in there. You just have to know what to do when it doesn't guess properly. So steps are the same. Go to where you want it to go. Hit auto sum. Now notice when we do that, it puts in a formula up top here. It puts it in right in the cell. There's already the equal sign. So you don't need to do the equal sign. In fact, if you did equals, it messes it up a little bit. So sum, then you're going to, it's not correct. You're just going to take your mouse and drag over the cells. Be careful not to drag over the cell that you were on, that you started with. So equal sum, B4 to E4. That's that range I was talking about. B4 to E4 and everything in between, and including the B4 and the E4. Okay, there are other ways to do that. You can select it first and then hit it, but it doesn't always work. So I don't like to do that when I'm first kind of starting out. Now, I am not going to do that for each line. No way. What am I going to do? Who knows what to do? And I know I did this one already, but that's okay. I'm going to give you I'll do that one after. Okay. I'm going to go up to it and I'm going to get my black cross. Okay. And I'm going to drag down. Now, when I say black cross, I mean black cross. I don't mean white cross like this. Drag, 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 drag. Well, geez, that didn't do anything. I'm going to go to that 216 and I'm going to go with the black cross. It'll only appear in one spot in that whole cell, bottom right-hand corner. And I'm going to drag down. And what that does is it copies the formula down to every single line. So 216, 174, and I'm looking, remember how we can click and look? Oh, yeah, that's good. On row 4, it's looking at row 4. I'm going to press escape. Here's my next one. Okay, row 5, it's looking at row 5. It actually wiped out the formula that we did. Okay, it's working. This is called relative cell addresses when it's across like that. Like it just knows. Just because we copied this one that was talking about row 4, just because we kind of copied it, it would do the same thing if you did a copy paste. It knows it's not going to go 216, 216, 260. It knows, hey, I'm on row 16. I want to look at the stuff on row 16. Cool, hey, that's an auto sum. Any questions about auto sum? What did we do? I'll do it again here. It is magic. Yay! Click where I want my answer to go. I'm going to go to auto sum. And this time I'm going to add up all my quarter ones. It's not guessing again. There are ways you can go in and pull that thing up. I don't think it's worth it. Sometimes it is, but you have to, it's really picky. For me, it's just as easy to go here and drag. Okay. Now I want to talk about, do I just go to row 4? Do I just go to row 26, the Jawbreaker Mint, or do I go to the next one? Some of you that have been in my classes before should know the answer to this. You go to the 27th row. So it should say B4 to B27. Why 27? There's nothing there. Will there ever be something here? Can you guarantee me that I will never have a new flavor of ice cream? No, you can't. Even if you're 99% sure. Okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to drag it across. Grace, you have a question. Hello, Grace. How are you?
Hi. I wanted to ask, where did you get the auto sum? What do I click on? I couldn't find it on my own Excel spreadsheet.
Oh, okay. So, and that's the problem. Sometimes we have to look for it a little bit. So it's way over on the right-hand side. Can you see where my mouse is? You see my name up here?
Mm,
Just right under. Yeah, it's way over on the right-hand side. It might not actually say auto sum. It might just have the little symbol. You see it over there?
I'm actually using my cell phone. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
good, super. All right. So keep an eye on that because we're going to be using the drop-down box beside the auto sum in a couple minutes. Okay, good. So that was my total. I drug it over. You know, it's funny. I've been teaching these classes for like 100 years, and when we do a formula, people are, they do a formula and they have no problem dragging it down, right? But then when we do a formula here, sometimes they forget that we can drag it to the right as well. Okay, and they go to the next one and they figure it out. Oh, auto sum. Oh, okay. Drag, 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 drag. Now it's wonderful practice, but it takes a lot of time. So please, and we'll get practice doing that here. We're going to drag it to the right. Okay, so in here now we know Q2 is 1024 and so on and so on. All right, good. All right, average. What is the average Q1 sales, right? So we know it's 920 quarts, but what is the average? And then of course we're going to compare those averages and see what our what we can kind of see from the total what our best month was, but maybe we want to know what our average is as well. So we're going to click where we want our answer to go. Then we're going to go over to auto sum beside auto sum this time, and we're going to click on average. So if, like me, you click on the wrong stuff once in a while and you click on auto sum, oh shoot, that's not what I wanted. I want to go click on the drop down. No, it's kind of too late. Hit your escape key, start all over again. And that doesn't mean, oh my gosh, I have to start all over with it. No, it just means if you kind of get into trouble with your formula, like you click somewhere, it says on the bottom point and you're like, how do I get rid of that? Has anybody ever had that problem? Just hit your escape key. I am just doing whatever I can to try to get you guys to love Excel as much as me. And sometimes we click on the wrong stuff. Hit your escape key. It's actually a little bit better even than your undo in some cases. Sometimes your escape key doesn't do anything, right? Okay. It says ready. I am ready to go. I'm going to click beside my auto sum and I'm going to go average. And it guesses just like it does with the auto sum. It's like, hey, I found a number and then I found a space. That's not what we want. We want the same range as we did with our sum. We want to go from B4 to B27. So B4 is the first one and B27 is the last one. And I will show you in a minute why we need that blank row, because what's going to happen when we add our new double caramel in. So I'm done. I press my enter. We're going to format these in a minute and I'm going to drag it across. So now we know, oh, wow, we had a really low average. Wow, okay, 76. Huh, interesting. Yeah, that's not surprising. I'm an analyzer. I look at stuff and I analyze it. Highest. What do you think? Can you do this one on your own? Click where we want our highest to go. So we're going to pull out, what is it if we did it manually? Is it 84? Is that what it is? If we did it manually, that's way too much work. So I want that 84 pulled out. So click where we want our answer to go. We're going to go to auto sum. I don't see highest in there, but I do see max. Max, it guesses, it's wrong. Drag, 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 drag. Make sure you don't get into the total because that's definitely the biggest number in that range. Make sure you do have that blank. Press enter. There's our 84. And we're going to go all the way across. And we're able to see, wow, there was some, we actually sold one flavor that was 476 quarts of one. It doesn't really tell you. I mean, you can sort it and stuff and see, but it just pulls it out for us. So maybe we do some calculations or something like that on it. Last one, not last one, the next one, lowest, same thing. Put your cursor where you want your number to go. Minimum, min. It guesses, it's wrong. Drag, 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 drag. Make sure that you get the blank. And what is it? Is it a 4? I think it's 4, isn't it? 4. Okay. Now here's something. Nutty Heavenly Splurge. Did we sell any Nutty Heaven Splurge in Q1? Did we sell any? Yes or no? I don't see a number there. Does that mean we sold any or not? To me, that doesn't necessarily mean we didn't sell any. That means that the person typing in here has not figured out yet or does not have the information on how many quarts of Nutty Heaven Splurge we sold yet. Because if I did have the information and it was a 0, I would go up to that cell and I would type a 0. I want you to watch your numbers down below change. Your 920 is not going to change because that's your total. Your 448, your average, will that go up or down if I put a 0 in there? It'll probably go down. What happens if you get a 0 on a test? Your average goes down. Highest, I don't think that'll change. Lowest, that'll probably change. So Nutty Heavenly Splurge, if it's a 0, that is different than a blank. 0 is different than a blank. Okay, look at that. My minimum is now 0. What? There was something in my list here that I sold 0 of, right? Maybe pecan and peanut truffle wasn't yet available in Q1 or Q2 or Q3. Should it really be included in our stats down here? I don't know, right? So 0 and blanks are different, They're treated differently. I'm going to get rid of that 0 just because maybe at the end I'll compare it to the completed. So it says that 4 was the lowest. And this is great for if there was any 0s, it's like there was none. Well, I'm going to get rid of that whatever, that line, whatever. Okay. So that is your sum, average, min, max. Any questions? Then we're going to go over number of flavors sold and number of flavors available. Let's talk this out first. Number of flavors sold. So in Q1, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. To get where I'm going with this, I'm not going in and just counting every single cell. It says number of flavors sold. So now my example a minute ago with the 0, that doesn't really, that assumes you're not putting 0 in, okay? Because otherwise we'd have to use a different formula. So this basically is how many cells in the range have a number in it. Okay, that's why I took my 0 out, because we could be here for another hour if we're going to do that, because then there's something called count if. Count it if it's greater than 0. We're not going to do that one today. There's 500 functions in Excel, give or take a dozen. Okay, click where we want it to go. We're going to go up beside our auto sum and we're going to go count numbers. Count numbers. That's the only one we haven't used. And if you want to see those 500 of them, you can go to more functions and then just press escape to come out of that. Okay, count numbers we're going to do. It wants the same thing. Drag, 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 drag. Okay, and it's only going to count the cells that have numbers in it. 19. Oh, so we're, is that right? Like, okay, it's 4th row to 26th row, but then there's a few blanks in there. I want to show you a little shortcut here. So I want us to go just when it's ready. You're not in a formula or anything. I want you just to drag down. You can drag the blank if you want. It doesn't really matter. Just select all of those for me. Just select them as if you're formatting them or something, right? And I want you to look down. Can you see kind of on the bottom right-hand corner, it says average 48 point blah, 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 blah. Oh, count 19, sum 920. That's kind of a good little, cross checker, right? 920, hey, my sum is right. 48.42, blah, blah, blah. Hey, my average is right. 19, my count is right. But where's minimum and maximum? If you right click down there, then you can add them to that list, minimum and maximum. Okay, but those aren't going to print anywhere. What we've been doing for the last few minutes, that's going to print out. Okay, so that count is the same syntax or format as all of the other ones, your sum and your total and your average and all of them, right? So it's like you sold 19 flavors there. That's interesting that that's a higher number, but sales are the lowest. Huh. Right? Okay. Now, how many of those weren't sold? I don't know. How many are available? So if I asked you how many flavors were available, it doesn't matter how many have been counted, how many of them are available. So if I took my hand and covered up B, C, D, right? And I just went to column A and then this 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if it will show it down at the bottom again. Down at the bottom, it says count is 23. That kind of makes sense because the one beside it, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 blanks in it. So 23, public math. 23 minus 19 is 4, right? Yay, it works. So we would want just one number here. Notice that my yellow is not going all the way across, just one little number here. I want to know how many I count. So how many are available? So I'm going to click where I want it to go. I'm going to go to AutoSum. Beside AutoSum, I'm going to go count again because I'm doing a count, aren't I? And I'm going to go drag, 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 drag. And it should give me 23, right? It gave me 0. Stupid computer, it doesn't know how to count. 1, 2, 3, they're there. What's wrong with my formula? I'm clicking on it and looking at it in my formula bar. And it's like, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with it, you guys? What's wrong with it? I'm going to hit my escape key to come out of that. What's wrong with it? How come it worked for this
You
guy?
maybe don't need the blank, maybe.
It has not complained about the blank yet. If I went and got rid of that 27 and made it a 26, still doesn't work. Yeah, it loves the blank. It loves the blank. I could have just undid that, I guess. What
need
did
to
it
tell it to add text?
Yeah. So up here, who said that? Leon? No, who said that? That was a great
Brett.
answer. Yay. Beside the AutoSum, notice what it said. It said count numbers. Now, how many numbers are in this range? I don't see any. Even if it said Red Hot Chili Chocolate 101, because it says Red Hot Chili Chocolate, it's not going to read it as a numbered cell, right? A numbered filled cell. Okay, smarty pants, Leanne. What do I need to do to it to tell it to count text? Leanne's been on our monthly sessions as well. And I'm giving you a big hint here. Look where I am in the formula bar. I'm putting her on the spot. I'm sorry, I shouldn't do that.
You need to do count A.
Yeah,
Okay.
you do. There's 4 or 5 versions of count. I talked about one a minute ago. Count it if it's greater than 0. We wouldn't use that here. I'm going to click in my formula bar right behind the T. And I'm just going to type in A and it comes up with some things. It's like, oh, hey, I recognize count A. That's kind of a little, I don't know, cousin of count. Count A. And then I'm just going to press enter. So I want it to count A4 to A27. Yay, 23. Amazing. So that is sometimes a really big time saver for people. Yay, Casey, you got that.
Would you do it one more time?
Yeah, so I'm going to go from the beginning. Click where I want it to go. Go and grab count numbers because that's the only count in there. Go grab all my flavors Now this time I'm just going to whip right up there and click after the T and put an A in. I'm not going to press enter and then say, oh my, why didn't it work? And then to go back up there because I'm putting it in as I'm putting the A in as I'm putting the formula in. So we might forget once in a while, oh shoot, I need to put the A in. Okay, just go back up there, click on it, go back up there and put the A. Now it's important to know it's not count A because the stuff I want to count is in column A. So if I was trying to count this text over here, it wouldn't be count H. Okay. And this stuff over here in column V, it wouldn't be count V, right? It's always count A if you want to count it. You think of it like alphanumeric or all. Count all things in here. Count everything that's not blank. Because there is also a count blank, right? So, yeah. Any questions with those? Pretty easy. Would you use those? Maybe. Okay, let's do some formatting because these guys down here are going crazy. So these are quarts. It says up here, sales by flavor. Oh, it's a little behind. Quart by quart. Quart, not quart. I'm going to select them all. There's no money here. There's no money. I did like it though, in that other one, in the back to the basics one, where I selected it and it all went to nice 2 decimal places and all that. If it was a big number, it had a comma. I did like that idea. Back to my practice functions, because there is some big numbers in here. I think some of that are over 1,000, aren't they? I thought, yeah, there's one over, a couple over 1,000. I don't want the dollar sign. I don't want the percent. What do I want? Comma. Boom. Look at that. So it puts commas in these large numbers down here. It puts 2 decimal places on everything, whether it needs it or not. Even these blank ones, if I go here later and I do end up selling some nutty heavenly splurge because the salesman finally got back to me, our numbers down here should all change. Not all of them. Some of them will change. If I say I did 100 of them, bam. Wow, our sales are so big for that month. I need more. Yay. Almost as much as the next quarter. My average changed. My highest changed. It went to 100 now. My lowest didn't. Number of flavors sold, that was at 19, and now it sees that there's a number in there. So it's happy with that. Number of flavors available didn't change. If we look over here, it says insert a row under the last flavor and add the following information. So I'm going to add double caramel. So I'm going to go, I'm not going to go here. I'm going to go to row 27, select row 27, and I'm going to hit insert. I'm going to hit insert, and then I'll do a little trick here, double caramel. I can copy and paste, or I'm so lazy, you guys. I could go here and I could drag double caramel over, right? I could drag it over. But then it leaves it from here, and maybe I didn't want that. How did I drag that? Look where my cursor is. I'm on one of the corners, not corners. Well, I could be on the corner, but not the bottom right corner. I'm on one of the sides, top or bottom, and I drag it. So here's a little tip for you. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab that. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see it. I'm going to grab that. It's like a 4-headed arrow. Zoom back out now. And I'm going to hold my control key down. Drag, drag, drag. That copies. Let go of my mouse first. That copies. It says, hey, you come over here. I want a copy of you. And then you can do your 100 and watch it go up from 1020 to 1120. So all of these formulas have now gone up. It used to be all B27, right? Used to be all row 27. Because I was in that range when I inserted, that's why all my formulas now are looking at this new one. 25, 55, 350, and it even filled this one in for me, 530. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't, I've noticed. So you can just drag it down. If there's numbers here, it won't fill it in. So you might put double caramel as a brand new one, but you don't have any data for it yet. You might have to drag that down. So just remember your autofill. Okay. Couple more minutes here. I want to give you a keystroke. I'm going to zoom way out. Here's some homework for you. If you are using Excel at all, I want you to look at your keyboard. See your number 1, it's way over on the left-hand side. Do you see a little squiggle? I'll draw it here for you. Squiggle, oh, that's very tiny. Little squiggle, okay? See the squiggle? It looks like this. Look at where I am here. Don't just hit it, but that squiggle, you see it on your keyboard? I want you to go Control squiggle and just sit there for a minute. This shows us all of our formulas in this spreadsheet. Now you might have to zoom out or scroll around to see them, but I'm going to encourage you to do that when you are working and you have an error. Maybe one of these formulas got wiped out. Somebody typed a number over top of one of your formulas. I don't know. Okay. What does it look like on that basic one? Click on it, Control squiggle. Oh, okay. So it's showing us, hey, where did that 300 come from? Or where did that number come from? And you can click and look and click and look, click and look, click and look, right? So it's kind of like clicking and looking in your formula bar, but it gives it to us all at once. So that was Control squiggle. And I just did it again to stop it from showing me the formulas. So Control squiggle again to stop it. All right. Last one. I have this one last one. Okay. Yeah. Find it wherever. It's usually around the number 1. It's on mine. It's the left of the number 1 key. So find it on your keyboard. The one that says with count function at the bottom is the same one as the basic one, except the basic one has number of participants 6. Who are those participants? I don't know. Wouldn't that be nice to know? And wouldn't it be nice for it to add it up? So because we have just learned about count, guess what we're going to do? So I've actually listed the 3 people. I'm going to go here to number of participants. Instead of typing a 3, I'm going to click where I want it to go. I'm going to go grab count numbers. And I'm going to say, can you please count these 4 cells? What do I need to do, guys? Is it going to work? They're not numbers, so I'm going to have to go up there after the T and put an A. It's also in column A. All my stuff's in column A today. There's a 3. So now I could do these same formulas equals 100. Look, I remembered that time, times 3. And total lunch cost equals 20 times 3. Okay, I'm not going to do the rest of them because we did those earlier. But now if I want to do a new formula or a new person, I want to add somebody, or in this case, add 3 people to the list. Okay, not going to type in the blank. What am I going to do? Well, I can insert, because this stuff is over here. It's going to push it down too, right? Maybe I like that. Maybe I don't like that. Instead, what I can do is I can go like this. I can just do 2 cells and I can insert. And it's not moving the stuff in column E. That's kind of cool, isn't it? So I want 3 blank cells to type into. And I'm going to put in, who am I going to pick on? Faye. Faye's got a nice short name. Jody. Who else do I got? Sarah. Okay. Look at it. Oh my gosh, that's even better. So now I have not only a nice little list, but it's adding, it's changing that number, and it's changing all that stuff. I didn't finish here, but it would be doing that. It would be looking at that 6. I do not have to go and change that 6. So tell me in the chat what you might use this for. How are you going to retain this? If we don't use it, we lose it. Please let me know what you think. Any questions? Melissa, that's awesome. Yes, it is awesome. And I hope that I have got a little bit of, have a few of you converted from using the calculator, because usually the calculations are simple and then we can put them into here. So formulas and functions, autofill it around to do it. Next week is Outlook. And Sure, surely I can do that. Next week is Outlook, and I think I've called it So You Think You Know Outlook. And this is the Outlook program, like the desktop version that I'm talking about mostly. It's not like, oh, I go onto the internet to outlook.com and I check my email there. That is kind of will be some of the stuff I cover will pertain to that, but it's mostly if you're at work and you go into the Outlook app. So we'll be going through that next week. And then the next week after that is the Microsoft 365 apps. And I've got a PowerPoint one coming. I just keep running these, but I'll probably end at the PowerPoint one and then maybe pick them up again in January. Yeah, yeah. And if you're interested, join the Thursday sessions. They're $10 a piece. We don't do them in the summer. If you miss one, if you say, I can't commit to the first Thursday of every month, then we offer you the recording to watch. And certainly if you want me to come in not come in physically, yes, I'll do that. But even just do this for your group. I did it for a law firm last year. We came up with a custom outline and we did it for 10 months of the year. So let us know if you want that. All right, great. So you guys go off and start doing that. Shirley wanted to know how to add more than one insert again. Well, there's a couple here. I'll do it on this one, row 28. I can select row 28 and I can hit insert. And all I was doing is just hitting insert a couple of times. But here's a trick. I didn't do that earlier, but since you're asking. So right now I have 1, 2, 3. And let's say that I want like, I don't know, 10. I'm not going to sit there and hit insert 10 times, but I can select 1, 2, 3, and it kind of keeps track for me. So I've selected 10. Can you see it? I'm holding my mouse down on the left-hand side of my screen. I select 10 rows, starting at the one where I want to kind of start inserting from, and I hit insert. It gives me 10 new rows.
Oh,
That's a cool thing. Yeah.
oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I'd already done a couple of them, but that might be easier to select first. Yay. All right.
Quick
Any other-
question.
Mhm.
You had mentioned something about you were gonna are you gonna email the recording just so that I have something to kind of go back on when I
Yeah.
just start as a beginner again? Because I was following just fine, but when I actually go to do it, I might get a little bit turned around.
Yeah. Yeah. So these free sessions, I've been putting them on my website.
Okay.
On courses.knowitsooner.com.
Okay.
So they're not open for the world to see, but you can create an account. I will send out an email with this information, but
Okay.
if you're keen to well, it's not there right now, but this is my recorded, all my recorded stuff. Log in or sign up and you'll
Okay.
see there that there's a bunch of free ones. There's a bunch of free ones, Excel tips and tricks. I highly recommend doing that one. Weekly nuggets. Oh man, I don't market these enough. There's a bunch of free ones. And then, like I said before, there's some pay ones
Okay.
on here. This Microsoft Office bundle was the one I was talking about. That it's free for the first 7 days. That's $49 a month. So free Fridays, that's where you'll see those.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see those in there. It makes you sign up. And then you're on my mailing list, and I don't send things very often out. So yeah, so that's where they can be.
Perfect. I appreciate that.
Yeah, great, Rosemary. I'm glad to help. Glad to help. Anybody else have any questions? Love everything you teach. Wish I was smarter. Oh my gosh, Donna. You're getting smarter with this stuff as we go along.
I
Yay.
hope so.
Yay. Well,
Can
you've
I-
got the
can I-
spreadsheet. Go and practice right now this afternoon.
Yeah.
All
exactly.
weekend you have to practice. Sorry, was there another
Joanne?
question?
Yeah, can I just ask you, do you do things like classes on like how to use your, like, I don't even know what it's called. Like right now, all my stuff on my computer goes into the cloud, which I hate. I would like it to stay on my computer. I don't know what that's called. I don't know what does that. I was gonna call my computer guy and I just thought, is this a class you could teach me that I could do this, or do other people ask this, or is this just me?
Okay, I have to ask you why you don't like it on the cloud, because that's a backup. And do you
Oh.
do backups
I
with your,
have an external hard drive, and
okay,
right now I'll tell you what I hate about it. I take pictures on my phone, they end up on my computer. When I am running out of space, I think they're still on my computer and I'm deleting them off my phone, and they're deleting from everywhere. They're gone. So I went and I downloaded everything onto my external hard drive, and now I think I lost a bunch of stuff. I'm just very frustrated because I don't understand that, but I hate it. I do not like it. I
Yeah.
like when I take a picture or when I put something on my computer, like a document, I like it to be on my computer physically there. That's why I bought the memory on my computer,
mhm.
which I have lots of memory on my computer, but now they're saying I need cloud space, and I don't want stuff in the cloud. I want it for me.
Yeah, so that's not really it's kind of it's not really Microsoft Office stuff that we're
Okay.
talking about here. So I don't really run any sessions on that. Do you have an iPhone?
Yes.
It sounds like an iPhone if they're asking you to buy more space,
Yes.
unfortunately. So that's kind of a little bit of a side thing. When you said cloud, Microsoft Office has cloud storage that is wonderful called OneDrive, and that is a really cool thing. And I do sessions on that. But the cloud is a little bit different because it's Apple. Honestly, I wonder if you could go to the Apple store do they still have one in Southgate Mall in Edmonton here? I know
Yes.
they have one in West Ed Mall.
Yeah.
They might be able to help you out. You have to book a meeting in advance online. They can't, sometimes you can walk in, but sometimes they make you wait, and they might be able to help you with that. Is it a laptop you have?
Yes.
Yeah, so that might be something that you could look into. I have kind of the same issues with that, but I have bought the extra storage. It's $2.99 a month, like $2.99. So I don't really mind it. I don't want to lose my pictures. If I lost my phone and I wasn't using the cloud, I would be in bad shape. So that is, sorry, that's not a very helpful answer that I can help you with, but and also maybe does anybody else have any thoughts on that? The whole Apple iCloud, yeah, it's and it depends on people's versions of iOS, and if they're using Windows or a Mac and all that. Maybe check on, I hate sending people to YouTube or LinkedIn Learning, because then they might go, oh, I can just get all my Excel courses here. But yeah, but that in this case, it might be something that would be worthwhile to check out.
So can I just ask, the OneDrive, is that a Microsoft thing that we can all use, and does it fill up? Do we need to buy space there, or how does that work?
That depends. Do you do a monthly or annual subscription to Office 365 or
No, I
Microsoft?
bought it. I bought it. I
You
bought
bought
the
it?
physical, stuff.
I think you get 1 gig of storage with that. I think OneDrive is free, but it's very limited. I think. I'm not quite sure, because I'm
Okay.
usually in the corporate world where people are buying the subscription, because then they get,
Um,
I think I have like 1 terabyte, which is like 1,000 gigabytes, I think. I'm never going to run out of space. Yeah. So, and I get all the free updates and all the new AI stuff and all that kind of thing.
but you
Yeah.
like that. I don't like change. They can just keep it the way it is and let me catch up.
Yeah. Well, that's part of my job. Like, you have your stuff that I'm always impressed with you guys, with the financial world, how you keep up on all of those products. So
Yeah, that
Grace,
changes enough. Yeah.
I know you have your hands full. Grace, you have a question?
Yes, I do. Well, not relating to what you just showed us, and thank you so much. I learned a lot in this short time. My question is, when I'm working with Excel spreadsheets, I always have a problem of numbering. So if well, I do put it in manually. Can you go back to the Excel spreadsheet? I'll give you a better example.
Doo-doo. Where is it? Where's my share? There's my share. Sorry, I kind of put everything away. And I usually do leave it up there. Okay, you can see my Excel.
Yeah. Okay, so you see on the left corner, there are numbers up to like
Yeah.
27,
Yeah,
and
your row
then you
numbers.
started from like the flavors you started from number 3, and then yeah. So if I want to put in my own numbers, like to kind of add another column and then do the numbering, I always end up doing that manually. Yeah, inserts.
So you want, like, you don't want to have to do this.
Yes, and then if I take off you know, a name, for example, then I have to do every other numbers manually. That's so
That's
frustrating.
not that much fun, is it? Yeah.
No.
So would you want that new one? So in that case, okay, caramel pavement is number 4. So if I deleted whole vanilla bean chunk,
Mhm.
would caramel pavement, would you want it to stay at 4 or would you want it to be 3 now?
I would want it to be 3, but then
Okay.
it doesn't because I don't know how to use Excel properly. Then I end up doing everything manually.
Yeah.
Changing the
Okay.
numbers.
So because I ask that because maybe these are attached, right? Hey, I'll have 100 quarts of flavor number 4. Well, caramel pavement better be flavor number 4 all the time then, right? It's not like an ID number, unit number or something.
Mhm.
Because that's a little bit different. So okay, I'm going to show you 2 ways. I'm going to show
Mhm.
you one way with autofill. You do the 1, and how many are we talking about here? Do you have a lot or not? Do you have a lot? I'm just going to, while you're thinking about that, I'm going to drag the 1 with my black autofill cross. I typed a 1 and I drag the 1 with my autofill cross, and it gives me a whole bunch of 1s, and you're like, Joanne, that is not what I wanted. Hang on. If I click on the little thingy thing at the bottom, that'll always appear when you autofill something. I'm going to go fill series. Okay. Now, when I asked you how many you had, if you had 6,000, that might not be good for you to drag and drag and drag, although you would have to do that with a formula anyway. Okay. Now, when I delete number 3, they do not renumber. However, you can just do that again. But again, if you have 6,000 of them, you might not want to do that all the time. Okay, so I'm going to show you a different way with formulas. Notice how I deleted everything but 1. 1 is not a formula, right? What would my formula be? Equals 1 plus 1. Okay, gives me a 2. Go all the way down. This is better because if I delete caramel pavement, they all renumber. No, I have to do my formula again. You have to do my formula again. But they all renumber, so it's easier. And I'll show you one more shortcut on that. Let's say mint chocolate cherry. You didn't sell enough. We're getting rid of you. I have to do it again. Watch this. Instead of dragging, I'm going to double click. So that is handy when you're doing 6,000 of them. Are you still there, Grace?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
Thanks so
So
much,
I'd
yeah.
probably do the formula one. The only thing is if you get rid of the first one, then you're in a little bit of trouble. You're going to have to redo your formula. But there's also something you could do up here. You could put a little one up here, a little one up there. No, you wouldn't do that. Forget it. You just do it like that. That'd be the
Okay.
easiest. Just type in a 1 and then do equals this guy plus 1. And then I did the autofill and it fills it all the way down. No, yeah, that's probably what I do.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Any other questions? You can go back. I want you guys to show at least one other person something cool that you've learned today.